Kenita, the agent slash investor. How y'all doing today? As y'all already know, even though y'all may not care, but I'm gonna still say it anyway. I'm already towards the end of my pregnancy, so yay me! My baby girl is coming. What else? Yeah, that's my big head son in the background. Say hi, Zaire. Now bye, Zaire. Mommy gotta make this video.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my big head son towards the end of pregnancy. This is going to be a two-part video because I know I'm going to sound winded and tired going over this topic. So the first part, we just diving into what it is. The second part is pros and cons. But what I am going to talk about today is multiple or multi-generational housing. What is multi-generational housing? Maybe some of y'all have heard of this before. Maybe some of y'all haven't heard of it before. But to break it down is when there is two or more adults and two separate generations living together. Prime example, you could take the baby boomer and a millennial adults. That's multi-generational. Or a baby boomer, a millennial, a Gen Xer, a silent generation, all staying in one household together. Yes, there are pros and cons. Like I said, we'll go over that in the second video. Hopefully I will have that done and it will be posted up next week. Fingers crossed, hopefully, because like I said, I will have this baby any day now. So with that being said, it's not a new I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry about that. I had to shut my window. Unfortunately, I'm by the window. I keep telling y'all, no matter what I do to try to muffle the noise around me or wait 20 or 30 minutes to record a video, noise still likes to proceed around me. I don't understand it. Anywho, back to it. A multi-generational housing is not a new concept at all. Most people think it is, but it's not. Like I said, I'll put everything in the description box as far as where I got my information from. But this came out back in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, where, like I said, three of the older adults, different generations, would live together. But back in the 80s, that was declined due to because everybody wanted their own personal space, which is, I get it. So because of COVID that happened in 2020, a lot of adults, a lot of older or younger adults, I'm a millennial, had to move back home with their mother or father. I'm one of those adults that had to, just because of finances. Now, most perceptions that most people have about multi-generational housing or young adults that staying with their parents or grandparents, 9 times out of 10, they are bums. They ain't trying to achieve anything out of life, or they feel like they're not really working hard to the goals and dreams that they have in their life. And 9 times out of 10, that's just not true at all. If you just don't have the finances for it, then you're just not going to move out at all. And that was something that I know I had to face and deal with. So I get that out there. So like I said, what had driven all of this was because of COVID-19. With the whole economy going like the way it's going, and still is going like the way it's going right now. You have people out there that have student loan debts. I'm one of those people. Also, I had a job that was paying me, and I was an assistant manager that was paying me no more than $10 an hour. And then the job or that store had closed down in the middle of the pandemic, so I couldn't even get myself back on my foot like I wanted to. So you have that's going on, and also inflation that's going on, as far as why most, I would say, I'm not even going to say Gen Xers, because Gen Xers would be considered my mom generation. I would say my generation, which is millennials on up. that cannot afford home ability at all. And home affordability last fall was the lowest, and it has been since the 80s. That was like before the pandemic. Um, with most of us millennials, we have to think about if we are going to save money to go buy a house or a car. If you don't have a car, go back to school for a master's degree or a PhD, or do something that's fun with, if you got children like I do, or with your significant other. If you're going to do something fun, that is one of the things that actually driving a wedge of why we can't get to the housing ability. And large increases when our country has a recession or housing bust, and then COVID. But people are surprised to think that the numbers are going to decrease again. A lot of people have been saying since after COVID that, hey, the housing market is going to crash. The housing market is going to crash. The housing market is going to crash. The housing market is just like 2008. It's going to crash. No, it's not going to crash. Nothing is not going to crash. Right now, the housing market is trying to correct itself. What happened in 2008 is completely different, which is check out that video as far as about 2008 market. But what happened in 2008 is completely different from what happened in 2020 and right now as we speak. Also, the census found out that there was a dip in younger adults living with parents after a spike at the height of the pandemic, but the dip was pretty shallow, which means many people moved in and just never left. Like I said, it happened. So now you got to face with the multi-generational. Labor shortage and care work. And also the survey by Pew said caregiving, child, elder, or otherwise, was the primary reason why you want to live in a multi-generational situation. That's one of the pros about it. You got the elders, like the side. I got, for me, prime example, with my grandparents, I got a solid generation, and I also have a baby boomer as far as with one of my elders of my grandparents. So if it ever had to come down to that they have to move in with me because they need to get taken care of, that makes sense. And then with me about to give birth to a newborn child, and on top of that have a 7 years old, I need a babysitter as far as who's going to watch my child. Interchangeable swaps, if you could say. That's one of the basic pros about why multi-generational would be a great reason for the situation. One more reason multi-generational housing is on the rise is because this article says that because America is getting less white. Don't shoot me, shoot the article. Hispanics, Asian people, especially if they are immigrants, are more likely to live with extended family. Black families are also traditionally more open to this arrangement. I would beg to differ, but I don't want to put my opinion on that. But I beg to differ with us doing a multi-generational. Overall, a little more than a third of Americans said that this trend is bad for society. This is from the Pew's research. This trend is bad for society because white people are more likely to say it's bad news, 41%, than black people, that's 26%, Hispanic people, 28%, or Asian people, 23%. Men find it more objectionable than women. Older people are less on board, and Republicans are least into this of any group measure. So let's unpack this. Most white people find this bad news because they feel like most people of color is not pulling themselves by the bootstraps. People by color like Asian, Black, Hispanics, we more of a culture people where we community based, so we always try to look out for our family members, our friends, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, nieces, and nephews, etc., etc., etc. What else? Men, where it says men find it more objectionable than women. Men don't want to build a multi-generational family because I know y'all heard the whole entire thing on TikTok about the women who should be stuck in the woods with the woman, the man, or the bear. Use your imagination with that as far as why women don't want, why men find it more objectifying for the multi-generational than women. You can't take advantage of a woman if she's around her family members 24/7. That's just obvious. Older people are less likely to be on board. Most older people, like I said, I got 3 grandparents still living. 2 of them is the silent generation. One of them is a baby boomer. They are stuck in their ways. They like things done in their way. They don't like new stuff, new technology, new nothing. So just having all of that around just basically interrupt their peace. As far as with Republicans, their whole entire thing is about money. They weren't about how money is coming out their pockets, to be practically frank and honest with you. And even though this article says Republicans, and yes, I'm about to put my 2 cent info in this, I feel like Democrats feel the exact same way too. They don't want this at all. Article, I was basically explaining everything about multi-generational homes. What would you and your family do as far as with the situation? Are you on board with the multi-generational family homes, or are you not on board with it? With me personally, with me being a real estate agent, I don't want to do the multi-generational family home. Not with my family anyway. I love them so much, but we live on different types of stratosphere of life, so I know it's not going to work out. But I wouldn't mind, and I know me and my siblings, we have talked about this, I wouldn't mind actually getting land. I mean, on both sides of my family, well, on my dad's side of the family, on his both sides, his mother and father, they both have land that was passed down from generations to generations. So if I want to, I could talk to the oldest family member, which is, if I want to talk to my grandfather, I can talk to him and see how I can build on that property that my great grandmother had left. But but what I'm trying to say is, I rather personally have land. 400 acres plus would be great, just because my siblings could be somewhere else on the land. We close together. We far apart, but still close together. And my children, they far away from me, but they still close if they need me. Not only that, with building, having land and building on it, I feel like that would be the best way as far as with community wise, and just having our own little sanctuary, if that makes sense. But for my case, multi-generational home, no, because I know that we will all live differently. But just living on the land, and they have their little cul-de-sac and their little 2-3 bedroom house or trailer. Do what you want to do on that. That's your business, none of mine. But as the question is posed, how would you and your family will work that out as far as with multi-generational lands? Please sit there and leave a comment. Let me know. Also, if you have any real estate questions, or if you need help with mortgage, I know like a couple of mortgage lenders out there that can help you. If you're ready to buy or sell a home, just let me know. Everything will be in the description box. I am Kenita, the agent/investor, and I cannot wait to help you and your family soon. Talk to you later. Bye.